Hi everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about this kind of a problem where we have a diagram and we have to figure out some of the missing angles. We're going to follow this procedure over here to find the missing angle. Step 1, we're going to write an equation that describes the diagram. Step 2, we're going to solve that equation. And then step 3, we're going to plug back into the original expressions. Okay, so step 1 here, we need to write an equation that describes the diagram. Now I can see, I'm not really going to focus on these angles here that have no expressions written in them. But this angle over here, I am going to focus on because I see that there's an expression written inside this angle here. And I'm also going to focus on this angle. I see there's also something written in here. Now, I have to ask myself, what kind of angles are these? Well, they're on opposite sides of two intersecting lines. So they are vertical angles. What do we know about vertical angles? We know that vertical angles are congruent. They are equal to each other. And therefore, the equation that we can write to describe this is that this is equal to this. So my equation is going to be 10x minus 1, which is just this expression, is equal to 49. Okay, so I've done step 1. Now we'll just do step 2 where we'll solve the equation. Okay, we need to get the x by itself. So let's get rid of this first. The inverse of subtraction is addition. So we will add 1 to both sides. Then we have 10x equals 50. Now we have 10 times x over here. The inverse of multiplication is division. So we will divide by 10 on both sides so that these 10s cancel out. We get x equals 50 divided by 10 is 5. So x is equal to, so we just solved the equation. That was step 2. So x is equal to 5. That does not mean that this angle is equal to 5 because this angle is not just x. This angle is 10x minus 1. So to figure out what this angle is, we can plug 5 back in here for x. So if I write out the expression 10x minus 1 and then plug the 5 in for x, now I have 10 times 5 minus 1. 10 times 5 is 50. 50 minus 1 is 49. So this angle is 49 degrees. Now, could we have figured that out another way? Yes. I mean, if we know that vertical angles are equal to each other, then since this is 49 degrees, then this would also have to be 49 degrees over here. But it's just practice using these steps over here. Okay, so let's continue on to the next problem. Oops, I forgot to... No, I didn't forget. It's down here. There we go. I have the little equation word over there. All right, let's follow the steps again. What equation would describe this diagram over here? In the last problem that we did, we set the two expressions equal to each other, but that's because we had vertical angles which are congruent. These angles are not vertical. What's the relationship between these two angles, this one and this one? Well, we can see that they are complementary. How do I know that? Because I see this little symbol over here which tells me that this is a right angle. So this angle plus this one must add up to 90 degrees. So the equation that I'm going to write is 6x plus, I could put this in parentheses, the other 6x minus 18, but if we just have a plus sign in front of the parentheses, then actually the parentheses are unnecessary. So we can just write it this way. 6x, which is this expression, plus 6x minus 18, which is 6x minus 18, which is this expression, is equal to 90. Okay, so this angle plus this one is equal to 90. Now let's just go ahead and solve that equation. So I see that I have two terms with x's in them. So I can combine these. 6x plus 6x is 12x. And then minus 18 is equal to 90. The inverse of subtraction is addition. We'll add 18 to both sides. When I say both sides, I mean both sides of the equal sign. Remember, the equal sign is what separates the two sides of an equation. So I'll add 18 once on the left to cancel out with this, and then I have to add 18 again on the right. Okay, so these cancel. We're left with 12x on this side is equal to, don't forget the equal sign, 90 plus 18 is 108. Okay, and then finally we have 12 times x over here, so we will divide by 12, because the inverse of multiplication is division. Divide both sides by 12, and then x is equal to 9. Okay, 108 divided by 12 is 9. So x is equal to 9. That does not mean that these two angles are equal to 9 degrees. X is 9. To figure out what these angles are, we have to plug 9 back into these expressions everywhere where we see an x. Okay? So if we were to plug it back into this expression, then we would have simply 6 times 9, which is 54. So this angle is 54 degrees, this angle. Now, if we plug x into this expression, we would get 6 times 9 minus 18. So 6 times 9 is 54. And then if we subtract 18, let's see, that would be 36, right? Yeah. Do it on the side here. 54 minus 18 is 36. Okay, does this seem like a reasonable answer? Well, 54 plus 36 is 90 degrees. Oh, actually, I think that's exactly the same example that I had in one of the other videos. So anyway, 54 plus 36 is 90. So it all makes sense because these two angles put together should be 90 degrees, right? Okay, so let's continue. We have 2 more problems to do. Here we see that there's an expression written in every single one of these angles, right? So there's an expression by this angle, there's an expression over here by this one, and this one over here, and this one over here. Now, if we put all of these angles together, then we get a full rotation. A full rotation is 360 degrees. So for step 1 here, write an equation that describes the diagram. The equation that we could write is that this angle plus this one plus this one plus this one. It actually doesn't matter which order we put them in. If we add up all of these expressions, we should get 360. So let's write, you know what, I'm just going to, instead of writing it over here and then doing it over again over here like I've been doing, why don't I just write the equation over here? So the equation would be 2x plus 43 plus 4x minus 199 plus x plus 4 equals 360. All right, let's go ahead and combine like terms. What can we combine? We can combine all the terms that have x's together, and we can combine all the terms that don't have x's together. So the terms that have x's are this one, this one, this one, and this one. And remember, if there's no coefficient in front, then you could write in a 1. So x is the same as 1x. So I'm going to write a 1 next to both of these x's. So let's go ahead and combine these. 2 plus 4 is 6. Plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So we're going to get 8x when we combine these terms over here. Now let's combine these. 43 minus 199 plus 4. What is 43 minus? Be careful. A lot of students, when they're combining like terms, they just add everything. You have to pay attention to what symbols you see there. This is a subtraction symbol. All right, this is addition, so this is like a positive 43 here. So we have positive 43 minus 199. What is that? Well, if we do 199 minus 43, then we would get 156. But we're not doing 199 minus 43. We're doing 43 minus 199. So instead of getting 156, we would get negative 156. Okay, think of a number line. If we start at positive 43 and go 199 spaces this way, so we start at 143 and then we subtract 199, so we go to the left 199 spaces, we would end up at negative 156, not positive 156. Okay, so this minus this is negative 156. Now we have to do negative 156 plus 4. So I'm at negative 156 over here. If I go 4 spaces back to the right, because I'm adding 4, so then I would move to the right, where would I end up? That would put me at negative 152. Okay, so we have, after combining these terms, we would get negative 152. So let's write minus 152 and then equals 360. Okay, so a lot of these are subtraction. The inverse of subtraction is addition. If this had been addition, then we would have subtracted over here, but it was subtraction again, so we will add over here. So we're adding 152 to both sides of the equal sign. We get 8x equals 512. Now let's divide both sides by 8. So x equals, let's see, 512. You know what? I'm going to run out of space there. I'll do it over here. 512 divided by 8. 8 does not go into 5. 8 goes into 6 times. So 6 times 8 is 48. 51 minus 48 is 3. Bring down the 2. 8 goes into 32 twice. Okay, 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract, we get 0. Nothing else to bring down. We're done. So x is equal to 64. So which step did we just do? We did steps 1 and 2. We wrote the equation. Here's the equation. Then we solved the equation. Now we're up to step 3, plug back into the original expression. So now everywhere where we see an x, we need to plug in the number 64. Okay, so let's do that. Over here we have 2x plus 43. So I'll just do this. 2 times 64 would give us 128. And then 128 plus 43 would be 171. So this angle is 171 degrees, which seems reasonable because this is almost a straight line. A straight line would be 180 degrees. This is a little bit less. So 171 degrees seems like a reasonable answer. Well, this one is easy. This one is just x. Remember, we said that x is 64. So if this angle is just x, then this angle is 64 degrees. Okay, let's plug 64 in for this one. This one is also pretty easy. If x is 64, then 64 plus 4 would be 68. Okay, what's this one over here? So now we have to do 4 times x. So let's do 64 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So we have 256 minus 199. Let's do that. Can't take 9 away from 6, borrow from the 5, that becomes a 4, put a 1 over here. 16 minus 9 is 7. Can't take 9 away from 4, borrow from the 2, that becomes a 1, put a 1 over here. 14 minus 9 is 5, 1 minus 1 is nothing, 57. So we have 57 degrees over here. Let's see if that makes sense. If we add all of these angles up, we should get 360. Okay, so 171 plus 57 plus 64 plus 68 should give me 360. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 8 is 20. 0, carry the 2. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 5 is 14, plus 6 is 20, plus 6 is 26. 6, carry the 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So we get 360. Very good. So all of these add up to 360 degrees. Now we're up to the last problem. Okay, so over here, what is the equation that describes this diagram? Now you might be thinking, well, this angle plus this angle plus this angle plus this angle makes a full rotation. So you might be thinking, well, okay, so let's do 4 plus x, which is this expression, plus another x, which is this expression, equals 360. The problem with that is the 4 plus x is just this angle over here, and the x is just this angle over here. So really, we just added up these two angles. We didn't add up these two angles also. So if we just put these angles into our equation, well, these two angles put together is not the full rotation. So we can't add these expressions up and say that these two by themselves are equal to 360. We would have to add in these other two angles, but we don't know what these two angles are. There are no expressions written here, so we can't add them up. But this would be incorrect. If we add just these two angles, then what would that be? Well, these two angles form a linear pair, right? They make a straight line together. So we can say that these two angles put together is equal to 180 degrees. And now we can go ahead and combine like terms. So I see an x here and x over here. We can put ones in front of those x's. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So now we have 4 plus 2x is equal to 180. Let's subtract 4. So this 4 over here, if you don't see a symbol in front of it, you can squeeze a little plus symbol in there. And then the inverse of addition is subtraction, right? And the reason we can think of this as addition is because 4 plus 2x is the same thing as 2x plus 4. So we can imagine that there's a plus in front of the 4. So let's subtract 4 from both sides, subtraction being the inverse of addition. We would get 2x equals 176. 180 minus 4 is 176. Now divide both sides by 2. We would get x equals, let's see, 176 divided by 2. 2 does not go into 1. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract, bring down the 7. 2 goes into 17. 8 times 2 is 16. Subtract 1, bring down the 6. 2 goes into 16 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. Subtract 0, nothing else to bring down. We're done. Okay, so x is equal to 88. So we just did step 1 and step 2. Now we're up to step 3. Plug this 88 back into here. Okay, that's not going to be too tough. This expression is just x. So this angle is 88 degrees. This expression is 4 plus x. So 4 plus 88 is 92. So this angle is 92 degrees. 92 plus 88 is, in fact, 180. So these two angles put together are equal to 180 degrees. Okay? So that's it. We're done. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.